Hi guys, it's Willow, and today I thought I was gonna do a forest fairy look, and I was gonna talk about some experiences I've had at pagan festivals, because I was thinking what could relate to the forest. Oh, camping in the forest. And that's pretty much the only time I've ever been camping was at a festival. And I did curl my hair for the look because I thought fairies might kind of have like curly Merida hair. Anyways, today I'm going to do my Wet n Wild foundation in ivory. It's photo focus, and I'm just going to start by putting that all over my face. And really, pagan festivals, or at least the ones that I've been to, are more like pagan, Wiccan / other. And they're really pretty accepting of everybody. Just, you know, be respectful. And I'm using dabbing motions to blend it in so that it doesn't end up streaky. And I do find paganism and Wicca interesting, but I am not personally of that belief system. I personally have friends of pretty much every religion. I don't really choose my friends that way. And for me, it's like, as long as you're not being hateful, I'm cool. And I went to about 2 festivals, one where I stayed over and one where I didn't in high school, and then I have a friend out here who owns her own land and she does festivals a lot. But I thought I would talk about the that were in high school that I went to. I'm gonna hecka highlight and contour my face today. And for the highlighting, I'm putting it right here in sort of a triangle shape and up on my cheekbone. The first one I went to in high school, I'm not really sure what happened which time I went. So I'm just going to talk about it all as one collective clump. The bigger one I went to was really cool grounds. It had a big fire circle. It had a couple of different places for different religions. There's like Greek gods and Egyptian gods, stuff like that. Pretty much just celebrating all the religions that kind of fall into the other category that aren't mainstream, I guess you could say. There was this Egyptian god's little like path that was off the main roads in the woods. Like, if you didn't know it was there, you probably wouldn't have found it. But my friend I was with, he knew it was there. And I think he was messing with me because he was going, oh, once you enter here, you'll never be the same. And yeah, got me all like worked up. I was like, well, I don't know if I want to go in there. I don't know what I want to, you know, change. And had me believing him. But we went in and it was actually kind of cool. It was like kind of like a maze in the woods, and at different parts of the maze there were different statues to different Egyptian gods, and it was just really interesting. I think it was lit by like tiki torches. And then the Greek gods section was really cool too. It had a statue to, I think it was Aphrodite in the very beginning, and then you went into this little path, and the path had different statues like the Egyptian gods path had, and had really cool like scenery and a rope bridge, like one of those wooden ones that go over a creek. It was really cool. One of the times we went, it was for a festival called, I think it's pronounced Samhain. I'm not positive. It's spelled like that. And it's basically pagan Halloween, applying blush along my contour line and the apples of my cheeks. So everybody was dressed up, and the main thing was like the fire. Everyone was like dancing around the fire and eating and talking, and there was a big potluck. It was cool. All the people there were really cool, but we were trying to get someplace to the other side of the woods, and we thought, oh, it'll be quicker to cut through these woods. So we just like were innocently trying to go through the woods, and this lady came out of the shadows and straight up, I'm 90% sure, said, "You shall not pass," like straight up Gandalf. And I was like, whoa, you know, and you know, it was because they were having a ritual that was private, but I still think she probably could have been a little bit nicer. We didn't mean to do that. She was cool after we were like, oh, sorry, you know. But I thought that was kind of funny, that she was straight up, "You shall not pass." You meet people like that everywhere. Alright, now we're going to go to the eye look, which I'm going to do lots of green since it's a forest fairy. And here's my giant, I think my mom got this for me for Christmas one year, giant eyeshadow palette. Got lots of greens in it. Actually, I think we're going to do the brows first. And speaking of fairies, there was at this place a thing called the Fairy Path, and it was also in a section of the woods. And when you walked up to it, there was like the entrance to it, and it was like branches that had been intertwined to make like a canopy, and people had hung up gifts for the fairies all over it, and most of it was like shiny beads and mirrors and coins. It was really cool. And of course my friend got me psyched up for that too. So we decided to go in, of course, in the dead of night. It was pitch black because it's out in the country in the middle of nowhere. There's no lights, and all we have is like a little cheap dollar store flashlight that like has a circle with like a 3-foot radius that shines light, you know. And we're walking in the path, and we could hear all these like voices and like rustling in the woods, and it could have been like, you know, just other festival goers, but it was a cool experience to be in the pitch black in the fairy trail where the fairies are supposed to potentially interact with you, and hearing all that stuff. It was cool. Now we're going to do the eyes. I'm going to start off with a dark green for the crease and the corner, the outer corner of my eyelid. I'm going to make it kind of pointy so it kind of looks like an eye lift. And before I went, I did know there was going to be some nudity because they have like certain events where nudity is allowed, and then some where it's not because it's more children friendly, and they put that on the website so that you're prepared and you know. And it's private property, so you know, as long as everyone agrees, I think it's allowed. I don't think it's illegal or anything. Anyway. Now I'm going in with a light mint green for my eyelid. So I was prepared to see some nudity, but also not, because I had not really seen people that were nude before. You know, I was young, I wasn't raised in the festival scene, so I didn't really know too much about it. And we're going to take the lighter green color and go underneath our eye too. But I did see Old Man Dong, which, you know, good for him. But being like someone not raised around nudity very much, it was kind of like, do I look? Do I not look? Where do I look? I can't look away, oh my god, you know, like, oh. Swinging in the breeze. And now we're going to take our white and go in the corner of our eye and our eyebrow. And then there are public shower houses, which they had like a swimming pond there, so if you went swimming, you probably should definitely shower afterwards, just because it's, you know, like swimming in a lake or anything else. You want to shower. And there were these girls that were doing nude yoga on like a floating dock there, and that was actually really cool to see. It looked like straight up out of a movie. They looked like sirens or nymphs or something. And they were diving off the dock and doing stretches, and it was cool. Again, you are forewarned that there's gonna be nudity, and they have some that aren't, so it's not like they're just bring the nudity on you. And for this look, because I want some wider looking eyes, I'm going to use a white eyeliner and go on the bottom tear line with it. Alright. And then on this other side of the same pencil, there's a dark emerald green that I'm going to use for my bottom liner. And I'm going to apply it kind of heavy because I plan on smudging it out. Now we're going to do the upper tear line and probably the tear duct line to make our eyes look pointed downwards like a hawk. And they have vendors selling stuff, usually like homemade, handcrafted art, or candles, or things like sage and crystals. And I kind of flip-flop on crystals a little bit because I understand the logic behind everything in the universe vibrates at a frequency, which I'm 90% sure is an actual like scientific fact. And you know, different vibrations and frequencies affect your mind and your body in certain ways. But at the same time, you know, I don't know. I don't know enough about it to know if I completely agree with it or not. I do believe in some of it. I like selenite and I like sage and quartz. Now I'm going to do a big loopy eyeliner. And they have a lot of bands play too. And that's always interesting to see. Usually pretty good. And I would talk about my friend's festivals, but I haven't asked her before I filmed this. And I don't know how she'd feel. Like, I wouldn't use her name or anything, but... Alright. How are we coming, do you think? I'm gonna trace the black wing liner with some gold. The second time I went wasn't as fun just because of the person I was with just wanted to stay in the tent the whole time. And like the point of being at a festival is to socialize and be in nature and not a tent. And I didn't want to, I have really bad anxiety. And I didn't know it back then, but because I didn't have like the tools to identify that's what it was, but I have really bad anxiety. And I was not about to go wandering off, just talk to people by myself. And at festivals, it's kind of like everybody's friend. So I would have been just fine, but that came out kind of sloppy. Whoops. That's okay. We're gonna add some extra highlight shine with this liquid highlighter I got off Wish. There was one time I went there with my brother and his friend on actual Halloween, so there wasn't actually a festival going on, but I was like, well, that's a place to go to for Halloween. I don't know what my logic was. I'm gonna do some cool golden patterns, like jewels. And I started to show them the fairy path, and we were like halfway through it when we started to hear coyotes, which was scary to me as a city slicker, to my brother and his friend as well. They were coming up from above the trail, and at first they sounded pretty far away, so I wasn't very concerned about it until they started to get closer. And they got so close that they were probably like 50 yards away from us. And we all realized how close they are at once. And I go, let's go back. You know, not really in the mood to get eaten by coyotes. And I'm like, but don't run. So of course, what do? They book it. Book it. Running as fast as they could. And the reason why I said don't run is because I know a lot of predators, like, if you start running, that triggers their hunting instinct, I guess. I've heard that at least about lions. So I think that was the logic there. Of course, we didn't get attacked by coyotes. But they booked it. I was so mad. But it's kind of a funny story, especially, like, the panic, I guess. And I'm going to add some little green freckles. I have a plan for the lips, and we'll see if it works. And with a lip primer, and then I'm going to add green eyeshadow. So, either this will totally ruin the look, or it will look good. Here it is! Do I look like I just walked out of, like, a Lord of the Rings novel? That was pretty bad. Alright, so those were some of my stories about being at pagan festivals. Again, I have friends from pretty much every walk of life, so, you know, it's interesting. I like finding out how people think and different ways of thinking. I think that's always interesting. So, here's my forest fairy look. Do you like it? Yes, very glamorous. Hopefully I don't have to do anything today. Let me know if you have any experiences with pagan festivals or whatever. Let me know if this is something you like, if you want me to tell you more stories, or you want me to just stick to makeup or just stick to stories. I am always open for constructive criticism. I will see you guys next time, and I always enjoy talking to you. Thank you. Bye.